So my name is Luisa Lajani. I've joined Oracle 8 months ago, so I'm still a baby, I think, in the company. And before joining Oracle, I had a mixed career. What does it mean? I got a degree on artificial intelligence, a bit ahead of time, I will say. And then I started working as a product manager for a few companies like eBay, Lycos, Skype. And then I moved to lead digital transformation for a few Fortune 500, like Yellow Pages, Goodyear, Dunlop, DuPont. So I think my background is a mix of a technical background and as well a business background leading digital transformation project. So today what I will talk you about is artificial intelligence, but as well try to understand what are a bit of the misconception we do have around it. So first question, have you heard about Sophia the robot? Okay. And are you aware that she is the first robot who got in Saudi Arabia a citizenship? So she is a citizen, as all of us. And for me this was a really funny news because I started reading a lot of articles and what this doesn't mean. And then I started watching as well all those videos about Sophia. And I think, if you watch the video, in one video, I think she was even treating humanity, say, okay, I will destroy all of you. It was going sometime in a kind of creepy way. And, I think that the trick here is like the trick magicians are using. The audience want to be foolish. The audience want to believe about what you are showing on stage. What does it mean? I think what is amazing is the software and hardware behind the facial expression that she has, because she can really emulate a human. If you look at the eyes or the way she moves her mouth, I think this is amazing. And as humans, we are primed to feel empathy for someone that looks like us. So in a way, we pay much more attention to her facial expression than to what she says. So if you analyze what she's going to say, is a classic, is like a chatbot. So is natural language processing. So even a normal chatbot today is able to have this kind of standard conversation. So I don't think that she's more advanced than probably something that you can install to reply to your customer in your company. But in a way, the fact that she has a face and she has this kind of expression make us feeling that she's human, and we think, okay, is not a robot, is a real artificial intelligence. And why this is going to happen? Because if you think about how I was growing up. I was growing up with a lot of sci-fi movies. Obviously, I'm passionate about it. I do watch every new artificial intelligence or sci-fi movie that is out in the market. And when I was a teenager, I was watching Matrix. And for me, this was part of my reality. And in a way, if you think about Westworld, Ex Machina, all the movie, is like they're picturing a kind of evil machine, evil AI that will like either to control, either to destroy us, either to use us as food or whatever. So in a way, our imagination is polluted about all of this. If we do look at the reality, indeed, there is something extremely interesting. First, we are already surrounded by artificial intelligence, and we are using it every day, a lot of time being unconscious of it. And why? Because if something it works, and this is a famous sentence from John McCartney, is the scientist who invented the term AI. So as soon as it works, no one calls it AI anymore. So it means you call it dishwasher. So, it's something that you think you find a different name for it, because AI is a bit theoretical, is far away. And if you think about what are the main techniques, I still use AI because maybe a few people don't agree with me, but it's still a general term that includes a lot of different disciplines. So from machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing are the most famous. And if you want to, in an easy way to understand them, you think machine learning is a new way of programming. So you don't need to program, but from different tasks, you can understand what is happening behind, and these permit you to give suggestion about action and learn as well from the output. So the output becomes the input back. Deep learning is used for computer vision. So it means is based on a data set, you can recognize that a chihuahua is not a muffin. There is a famous experiment that after a few years, computer vision was achieving to recognize from a set of pictures, different from a chihuahua and a muffin. I don't have this picture, luckily, but if you see it, you will realize that it's not easy to recognize, even for us humans. And then if you have natural language processing, is again the way machine emulate our language. So it means it's based on linguistics, semantic, parsing and analyzing not only one word, but a set of words and a set of meanings. So you do have all the semantic, disambiguation, and so on. But those are the three main techniques that are used for different activities. And then when we talk about again, AI, you read a lot of newspapers saying, okay, this is the biggest transformation ever. We are entering a new era. It's true, but it's not only AI. Why we are entering in a new era is a different range of technologies. You do have big data, you do have cloud, you do have AI, you do have proximity in terms of geolocation, social media, mobile. So you name them, is all the new technologies that we have seen raising in the latest few years, and all of them are expanding, exploding, and in a way they are reinforcing each other. So if you think about all the technique, behind AI, are boosting all the other technologies, springboarding them to accelerate the innovation. So it's not only one, but it is a mix of those. And this is the reason why when you think about AI, it's not a platform, it's not something that is separate, it's applied everywhere. So you can decide to have a machine learning algorithm on top of something else. If you do have enough data and you can get knowledge out of it, then you should do. So it's not, it's not a platform or a static concept, but it's an application. So, and this is the reason because Oracle approach to artificial intelligence may differ from other companies' approach, but the main reason is that we don't consider just AI like something separate, but we do apply machine learning algorithm in all the different stack, in all the different aspects, and you can think about in the technology stack. Larry Ellison at Open World in September announced the autonomous database. So it means a database that is patching itself thanks to machine learning. But then this is applied as well to marketing cloud, service cloud, commerce cloud. So all the different applications that are going to serve and offer marketing tool, they do have a layer on top with machine learning. And we will see a bit more later. And I think a really key point, and I think is the key driver to understand how it works. Sometimes it's not that a machine can be intelligent by itself. Why a machine is intelligent? Because you provide to the machine the data. So this is really the key of everything. Then you do have a set of different algorithms. They become a model, and then you do apply this model, and you have intelligent output, or something that looks like intelligent. But if you don't have the data, if you don't have enough quantity and quality of data, then it won't work out. And if you think about it, it's not something new. If you look at the theory that is behind AI, is something that it exists from the 60s. So in the 60s, think that at the MIT they were developing a chatbot, actually, that was called Eliza. And they were using this chatbot for a kind of patients, because they discovered that few people, especially the one that were calling at the phone for looking for help, in this case was really kind of psychological help. What they needed to do, they needed to have someone listening to them and simply give a punctual reply, but like, yes, I understand you, I feel what you are saying. And they started piloting Eliza really few years ago. So there is not really anything new. Why we have seen this boost now? Because first, we do have much more data. So we are in the big data era. we do have a better processing power, so we can process this data much faster and much better. And then based on this, we developed as well new algorithms like, okay, machine learning and deep learning that was a consequence of the amount of data and the processing power. And I think what I would like to give you an example of why in this case machine learning could be extremely important, and how this is going to change marketing, for instance, or our real life. So I found this chart. It was shared on LinkedIn. I like it a lot because I thought, okay, finally there is someone trying to understand different generation, not only based on demographics or on what I like to buy, but is more contemporary, because is the kind of singer I do like. I mean, I do like Justin Bieber or Nirvana or Madonna. I would prefer to go to Burning Man or Coachella Festival. So it's something that is entering as well in your behavior and taking it a bit farther. Then I try to see where I stand, and what I found out is that, in theory, I'm in between, I'm at the end of Gen X, so I'm entering already in the millennials in terms of age, but then I'm not there. So, I like jazz, so it means I'm a baby boomer. I don't think so. Or in some cases, I do have some behavior that are typical of kids. I don't know, I'm not a kid. So you see, I think this kind of generation bucket are useful, but are extremely inefficient because you really can't understand what a person stands. And if you base your marketing activities on this, well, maybe you can fit 40-50%, but I think that there are a lot of behavior, a lot of values that you can't fit in there. And why I'm telling you this? Because if you think, sometimes when you go to whatever conference, a few people will show you, because it's true, how the consumer journey is changed. So you will see, okay, now we do have different moments of truth. People are distracted by hundreds of different devices. Their journey is not anymore linear, but is something like this, because we do jump from phone to computer to phone call to moving around and so on. So sometimes we are faced with, okay, how we can really communicate with our customer in a meaningful way if his journey is so complex, is so complicated. The good news is that you can, because if you do analyze that the new technology we do have now, the big data plus machine learning and AI, you could move from what is called mass marketing to mass customization. So you could have a market segment of one person, and you can really tailor-made whatever campaign, communication, offer, service exactly for this person. So it's the hyper-personalized world. We are entering into it. Obviously, you need to set it up, some tool for being able to have this market segment of one, but the good news is that you can do. And why you see it written Scale Love? Because, if you are familiar with marketing, I think a few years ago we had a book that was a love brand, so everyone was struggling to become a brand that a person loves. And how you show love? You show love if you take care of the person, of the individual, and you know the person so well that you know that someone prefers red roses, someone else white roses, or someone else prefers chocolate as a birthday gift. So you can now reach this level of personalization, this level of detail, and so you can scale up love. So it's not, it's really hyper-customization, and in my view is a big revolution. It's something extremely positive. So this, I'm not going in deep because, this is just an example of what you can do. But for instance, the way we do call one part of artificial intelligence in Oracle is adaptive intelligent apps. So what does it mean? Is a layer put on top of some of the, in this case, the marketing cloud. And what you do get, you do have a different range of data. So you do have the data coming from the context where the person is. Is the person using a mobile device? Is the person in his room at home? Is the person walking? How is the weather outside? Is it raining? So contextual information, a lot of information that help you to change what you want to communicate to this person. This is the first aspect, so it's not so different from a big data activity, but the second aspect is that the system is going to suggest you the next best action. What does it mean? Based on all the data, all the information, as well historical information and so on, tell you, I think that the best way to communicate with this person is push notification, because I do know that this person is always opening push notification, will never open an email, so don't spend your time. And it's going to really suggest what is the best action for this precise customer. The same could be applied to commercial offer. Again, is personalized, hyper-personalized, and the big difference compared to a classic big data is that it's happening in real time. So I'm surfing Zalando and I'm looking for a pair of shoes. In real time, I'm suggested by a recommendation engine to have as well the address to pair up with this pair of shoes, but based on my interest, based on my data, end up updating it in absolutely real time. So, and this can be expanded, we are not going to enter in each use cases because maybe we can talk offline if you are interested, but this is applied to marketing, commerce, sales, the service, the supply chain, the human capital management. So it's really applied to every different aspect, every different tool or product we do have, because again, we believe that machine learning is something that should stay on top of all the rest. So it's not something separate. Few words how it works. What is important for you to know are really few elements of it. First, that there is a supervisory control. What does it mean? That even if the machine probably give you probably it's better than a human in telling you what you should do, still you need to have the control. So you maybe have some information that are not given by the data. So with the supervisory control, you may decide, I do accept this suggestion, I don't accept this suggestion, or you input as well additional data to improve the kind of action suggested to you. And then the second key area is first-party data, second-party data, and third-party data. So the first-party data is the one you do own, so the data you do have. Second-party are the one coming from your partner, so it's advised that you can get more data as possible as well from the ecosystem of your partner. And the other area is the third-party data, so it means getting them from systems like DMP or other system, and for instance Oracle DMP has something like 6 billion of data, so it means that you can enrich the information of your customer with what they are doing on social media, what they are doing on other websites, what are their capacity of spending, so a lot of information that are really useful to optimize all the activities you want to do. So then the second big area where, and I'm talking now about some of the first and more visible application of artificial intelligence. So I think that marketing is one of, commerce is one of the first. The second one is related to service. So this is a prediction from Gartner. So it means that by 2020, 20% of mobile interaction will happen through a virtual personal assistant, and you may realize it or not. So if you don't realize it, it means that the system is really working. So if you don't realize you are talking with a chatbot, but you think it's a human, I think it's the proof that the chatbot is doing a good work. And why this? I mean, first, because all of us, we are using instant messaging apps. So it means WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and so on. I think 4 billion maybe is outdated. Maybe we are now even 5 billion, but is incredible because it's easy and everyone is on it. I mean, even my mother, she's a former teacher. She's now retired. She's more active on Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp than on a normal phone. So I think it's for all the different age. And when you apply this to service, a lot of surveys are demonstrating that people, they don't like to call a call center to solve an issue. So they do call someone only when they are forced to do. It means when the problem is really complex. Often, in 60% of the cases, they try to solve the issue in another way, so usually going into the website, or if there is a virtual assistant, asking to the virtual assistant. And when they can't solve the problem by themselves, then last chance they call the call center. And when they do it, probably they're already quite angry because, they couldn't find the reply to what they were looking for. And in this case, what could be really useful? I mean, if you think to use like a chatbot or virtual assistant, is something that first is 24/7 active, can reply to standard question, and for me, you make the right usage of humans. So it means use humans only when you need empathy, you need someone dealing with a complex case, because there are a lot of standard activities that can be done by a chatbot or a virtual assistant. I do have an example, but I don't know if you can, there is a video embedded in the phone, maybe you can play it for me. Let's try. Yeah. Okay, this is a banking chatbot, so it's a functional bank. And you see there is the guy that has a problem. I mean, first he starts, ask what he wants to do, the cards, loan or FAQ. In this case, he select the card and already pre-select some activity, report card lost, card not working, apply new card. I mean, luckily he lost the card, so he forgets the card, he knows the card number or not, he forgets it, so ID card number, he provided. So in this case, there is to verify the identity, there is an SMS that was sent to him with a PIN code. He just writes the PIN code. And then he has, the guy has few cards, so he's asked to identify which of the card he lost. And in this case, he's ended up that, okay, this is the card. Good, confirming that this is the right card. And he's asking what to do. I mean, they want to block the card and so on. And so if he's accepting or not, he's going to accept. And then he's booking the appointment. He say, okay, a sales rep is going to call you. And then he's going back to the main menu. In this case, he's starting a loan. And then he's asking, okay, what you want to do with the loan. You want to apply for it. Which type of loan? Is personal, is mortgage? In this case, is personal loan, saying what are the rate. Apply now. So again, say what he has to bring with him, ID card, and then where is the nearest ATM and branch office. Again, connecting to the map, current location, and is giving him a few possibilities about where is the nearest office, the nearest branch. So, and this is, for instance, one example of a few activities, and we can stop it, that you can do with a chatbot. This is for a banking example, but I think you can apply it to a lot of different activities. Again, cover 24/7 and probably reply to a lot of the questions that people are looking for. Then obviously the second level is as well, be sure that on your website you have a good FAQ, you do have advanced system like policy automation, knowledge-based automation and so on, and you drive only the complex case to a call center. Going back to machine learning and artificial intelligence, I think another of the application paired up with service is you do know in advance what the customer, why the customer is calling you. So it means you do have not only all the information about historical data about the customer, but as well suggestion, what is the next best action you can do with this customer based on all the information, all the data you do have. So again, you are optimizing what the agent can do in the case there is a decision to call the customer service. And I think this is referred to what I was telling you before. I believe that a lot of the buzz about AI is okay, AI is going to steal our job, we will have in these big issues, someone is going to steal our job. Then the most pessimistic, they think they will dominate us. So you do have all this kind of different fear. I believe in technology. I believe that technology is an evolution. So, I'm a believer in AI, and I think that what is really useful for is, again, make the right usage of humans, because in some activities, if you do compare a machine with us, you will see that in some activities, computers are much better. So when you see the machine beating the chess player champion, is better. Why? Because this is called artificial narrow intelligence. It means based on a set of criteria, based on a set of different rules, and on the capacity of calculus, then the machine is much better than us. You can't beat a machine in calculus, you can't beat a machine in memorizing numbers or memorizing a set of criteria. So you need to accept it, and I think it's useful because they can do a lot of activities we don't want to do or we are not so good at doing. Then there are, machines are becoming, yes, more intelligent, so in some activities we are becoming almost equal. So it means facial recognition, image sorting, so deep learning algorithm. Again, but why they are becoming intelligent? You need to provide them the right data set, so the right data that they can recognize image. And as well in some basic chat, as we have seen, machines are pretty good. Still, as humans, we are better in all that is related to feeling, empathy, as well recognizing expression of another person. So all that is human, truly human, we are much better than machine. As well, sometimes the capacity to learn, the intuition, art, music, all these we are still much better. Then I'm not going to deeply enter on the topic, if machine will become super intelligent as human, because we could probably spend, the full day debating about it. Obviously, there are few schools of thinking. Someone is going to say, by 2030, machine will become intelligent as much as human, and then this will be the first step to create a super intelligence. Others are going to say, sorry, we even don't understand how it works, why we are intelligent. Sometimes if you think about learning a foreign language or translating, we don't understand why we are good or not good at it. So there's still a lot of hidden area. And so these scientists, they say, sorry, since we don't understand ourselves, we probably won't be able to create a machine better than us in some activities. So looking at the future, about 2030, what is going to happen? This is a report from United Nations, and they estimate that we will become 85 billion people. And we will continue as well with the urbanization. So it means we will have around 75% of people, of population, at least in Europe, living in cities. And we will have 30 mega cities. So this will be our life. And then you think about, transportation, work, all this kind of consequence that we do have, increasing the number of humans on Earth, and as well the number of mega cities. And then if you look, and this is an extremely interesting TED Talk, is from a guy working for BCG, and this is, they've run a deep analysis on how will grow the request of work and how will grow based on the growth of the GDP. So, and this is a bit counterintuitive, because if you do read the newspaper, it seems that we will be, in few years, we will have this problem that machine will substitute us, and we won't have enough job. So say, okay, you mass of people like, in the 29 in the street because they were looking for a job, and, this kind of apocalyptic and disaster scene. So if you look at the data, the real data, what does it mean? That we will be in the opposite situation. We will have a labor shortage. So it means that we will need to have more people or machine working. than what we do have today. And for sure, AI will help. So it means that many of the manual work, many of the standard job will be done by robots, will be done by machine, in different way, in different extent. And what this will mean, we will raise the production, so we will produce much more. This will raise as well the consumption of product, and we will improve as well the product. And who will benefit the most are the two countries that now are leading, I will say, in innovation. China will have an increase of 26% of GDP, and US an increase of 14.6% of GDP. Obviously, as well other countries, but these two will be leading. What will be the real problem? Because when you do read this article about, AI will steal our job, there is a real problem. The problem is that there is not enough job for everyone. Is the skill the problem? Because what will be required is you need to have skilled people. You will need much more engineers, you will need much more doctors, you will need data scientists, you will need, or maybe people understanding the data, making sense of it. So it's a completely different skill set. So the people that they don't have this kind of skill set, they will be in a risk of losing their job and not find easily something else. And what does it mean? This is like the challenge is in reskilling people, is like redeploying people, and as well is a strong cultural challenge. So it means people that they need to have this mindset switch, not thinking that the job they do today will be the job that they will do for the next 20 years, but they need to be ready to learning continuously, to change job, to create new skills, because the world will be faster and faster. And so you know that there is a question, and was part of the agenda of today, how is possible to integrate, you can think either the chatbot or machine learning capabilities, robots in your current processes. I don't think that the question is about the chatbot or not the chatbot. I think is about transformation. And this is something I built when explaining what are the barriers and the drivers for digital transformation, and really enter in the same area. Because if the company is innovative, has a culture of taking care of people, reskilling people, having continuous learning, being ahead of innovation, and is not, a company doesn't do it because it's a good company in the sense that would like to do something just beneficial, must do because your competitors will arrive first or before you if you are not up to innovation. So is required, so it's not a matter of choice. But again, if a company is innovative, then it will be easy to adopt new technologies, like artificial intelligence is one of the many. If the company is silos-based, doesn't have a vision, not integrated, is resistant to change, is extremely conservative, well, probably in few years they will be out of the game, and then problem solved, because they won't need anymore to be innovative. And so, just to close it, the today's session, I think, and I started, this is a question I always ask to myself. But a few months ago, when I joined Oracle, this was becoming even more evident, because I started to build few pitch about artificial intelligence. And then I was asking myself, with all these machine becoming intelligent, what does it mean to be human? So it's something that changed as being human today compared to the past. And then, I do study philosophy in my teenagerhood, and Descartes was one of the philosophers that was innovating the scientific field, but as well asking a lot of questions about who he was. So you do have the cogito ergo sum famous sentence that is, I think, therefore I am. So in this case, the fact to think, the fact to have doubts about the world outside him and the world inside him was like the foundation for knowledge. And I think we were spending so many years. This was one of the bases of the scientific research and of the knowledge. And sometimes I ask myself, is it still valid, or maybe is it something else? And then when I do see a machine that is probably better than us in calculus, in math, sometime in this kind of scientific knowledge, I start thinking maybe be human means something else. And means to have feeling, means to have empathy, means to have all these aspects that permit us to take care about something else, to take care about someone else. And I think that this is what probably will differentiate us in the future as being human. And again, I strongly believe that machine will help us to be more human, so we could really appreciate much more the feeling part that sometimes is not considered as important, and as well to be better humans, because we could delegate to the machine a lot of activities that we don't want to do because are boring, are manual, or are too standardized and don't require that we do have the intuition or what is a kind of intelligent approach to things. So thanks a lot.